way we can just do it. So, hi everybody, this is Michelle Hoagland with Top Hat Creative Marketing. We are an online review management company, and this is my guest and co-host this week, Peter Brissett from Digital Marketing Dude. Hi, Peter.
Tell us what's happening, Michelle?
Huh?
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Plug yourself. Plug away.
Oh, hey, I'm the Digital Marketing Dude. That's who I am. And we do all things marketing. We love online reviews. We've created a product called Review Me Marketing. We write about this. I actually have a Kindle book called Overcoming Negative Online Reviews. We speak about it. So we're dead serious about reviews.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes.
We try to be fun too. So.
Oh yeah, definitely having fun. Definitely want our clients to be noticed online. But yeah, it's funny. We've learned quite a bit. Peter and I are actually strategic partners on some projects, and it is absolutely amazing the statistics that are out there now with how many people actually pay attention to those online reviews and how important it is to be able to manage those. So we just had somebody else join us, Alan from Compass Media. Hi, Alan. Feel free to jump on. I've got an open seat. If anybody wants to jump on and just kind of chat, this is very...
Ask us questions. How are you using reviews? You know, what are reviews doing for your business? Do you not know anything about reviews?
I'm going to give you a
There's no dumb questions. Only...
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something not nice. I don't want to be not nice.
No, it's all good. I look sunburned on here. I was sitting out on the deck earlier. It's just too gorgeous outside.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to clap you for that.
No, you're not? Okay.
No benefits for being out there. I'm going to be coming up later, though. You got the wine ready? Is the wine chilling?
We've got the wine ready.
Okay.
The food is ready.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's hard work. It's hard work up here at Top Hat Creative Marketing. I got to tell you. It's amazing.
Dublin, Ireland. Do they have reviews in Dublin, Ireland?
Wow. You know what? Actually, we have a consulting side that we have an orthodontist in Ireland that we work with. So that is awesome. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. That's fantastic.
Great.
They're coming in. Yay. I'm excited. So let's see who we have here.
Jumping on.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
How are you? How are you?
Good. I'm going to start following you. Now I'm going to stalk you. There we go. How's it going?
Great. Yeah. Just out jumping in there, just seeing your small reviews. Yeah. Very good. Just interested to hear what what you're talking about more so.
Yeah. Well, now is your name Alan? Is it Alan?
I am. I'm Alan. Okay. I'm Alan. I own Compass Media. I'm the proprietor's SEO, what do you want to call me? CEO, I'm whatever. It's a small operation at the moment, but it's only started up in the last about a year and a half or so. So we've got a few small clients. Okay. We try and deal with the smaller businesses and try and get them online because in Ireland they're terrified, basically.
Sure.
So and like that.
Hey, same here in the U.S. They're scared. They don't understand.
Yeah. Small businesses are scared here too.
But they do have I'm dealing with a few restaurants, and of course they sell their reviews. They're vital. And
absolutely.
We had I also present a business show every week on a online radio station, and we interview guests, and we had a manager in from Thunder Road Cafe. It's an American style themed restaurant here in Dublin, and it's huge. It's 200 seats, 270 people at any one go. Wow. So fairly sizable. It's something on the basis of a hard rock or like that or so. But like that, she was talking about her reviews, and they were saying the TripAdvisor would be their biggest concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which you can understand. And I have to admit that I would use TripAdvisor and I would sort of find out, but I would never go by what the comments have said. I'd always look, if someone writes a bad review, I'd look at what other reviews they wrote and whether it's just,
right.
so it's sort of a gauge, but yourself, it can be very damning at times for businesses. So so that's where we're at the moment with the company and whatever. So we're quite a young company, but we're getting there,
Oh yeah, well everybody's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, well that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But
very good. Well, Peter, do you want to chat with Alan about how we work things? Kind of give him an overview of what we do here, because it's funny. We actually started looking at some statistics, and restaurants are the number one based business that are they live and die by reviews.
Yeah.
So and we found this statistic from an article a couple of weeks ago, and 92% of consumers value online reviews versus 88% from last year. So those are huge, and especially for restaurants.
Yeah. Well, we find it we get a lot of reviews through, say, even social media, like say Facebook, and you would get a good reviews and that and whatever, and and as I always say, when people say, "Oh, I don't know whether," because we get reviews, and I'm saying, look, if you get a bad review, you need to tackle it, and you need to answer that back, and you need to get onto that person, and and find out exactly why they had a bad experience, or if they had a great experience, can you tell us more why, so you can learn from it. I think the online reviews, I think they're vital. They're vital to any business, because they will give you an insight from a customer's point of view as well.
Right.
Well, the real piece of what I see with online reviews is about trust.
Yes.
And that's totally what's at stake. So when someone's going, I'm considering your business, but I don't know if I can trust you. I'm not sure that I can trust you to give you my money. Mm-hmm. So the reviews are an objective method then of me trying to make that determination. Are you a trustworthy business? And some people are like, oh, well, should I be doing anything with reviews, or should I, do I need to get more reviews? And it's like, when you're in that online space and you are at that moment, when I'm searching on my phone, I'm searching on my desktop, you are the same as every other business out there. I can't tell that you're different. Mm. But if you have more reviews, more positive reviews, and that's there, you created a way to differentiate yourself from your competition in that space. So to me, that's, you combine the trust piece with that side of it. How do I differentiate my business in an online search? Because they haven't been to your website yet. They haven't looked at you. They don't even know yet. They just need to get a warm fuzzy first before they can take the next step.
Yeah.
And
I like that. Yeah. Go on. Sorry. Go ahead.
Nope. That's it.
Like that, there's no such thing as a better review than your friends liking friends, you know what I mean? Like in businesses, because it's great. And we would deal with the restaurant. We would always say to them, if someone says to you, "Oh, a great meal," I say, "Well, why don't you put it up on either TripAdvisor, or why don't you put it up on our website, and give us a review and tell us what you think, And it does work. And
right.
Their friends see it that they've done that. It adds to it, and I think it's a great way of doing that,
I do too. And that's the thing is that was another part of the article is that a lot of people, they really take those star ratings seriously, and they'll look at the first 3-4 reviews and make their decision based on that. Mm-hmm. So if you've got bad reviews in there, they're going to move on.
Yeah. So I've got this pulled the survey up here, Michelle, just to talk about some of these things. So this is the most recent survey from Bright Local. Star rating is the number one factor used by consumers to judge a business. Number one, and 68% say positive reviews make them trust a local business more. So that's actually down a little bit. That trust factor is actually down a little bit. Just because I think people are a little more skeptical of the reviews they're looking at. That's why you really want to get authentic reviews. You don't want to fake it. You don't want to make it up. You want it to be very real. So, and then having that good mix. If all you have is positive reviews, sometimes that might be a little bit of a red flag. Like, surely somebody has a bad day once in a while. So a good mix, a good variety of, hey, we got lots of positive. Oh, bad one. Yeah, well, shit happens, right? Can we cuss on this? Is this?
Yes, we can cuss on this.
Okay.
Was that a beer, Alan? Were you drinking a beer?
No, it's coffee. It's coffee.
Okay, I was going to say.
You'll be heading to the pub in a minute.
I'm
well,
incredibly jealous.
It's 9:15 here at night, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 9:15. You can't go to the pub yet. You got to wait till at least 10.
No. We don't go out till 11 o'clock here.
Oh.
Sorry about that. I digress. Sorry.
And then we stay out there all night. We don't go on right.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm sorry, Peter. I interrupted you. Where were you?
Oh, I have no idea what I was saying.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, the beer trivia.
You working with any real estate people, Alan? Do anything in real estate?
No. We're sort of it's more consumer based, like it's
okay.
It's more we deal with, like, say, a chain of convenience stores. Like we would do a lot of business with them, and then we're doing business with small marketing company that is actually trying to get up on their feet and whatever, and they're just sort of like, they're like, I suppose they're a branding company, so it's great because we have a great mix, because they have a lot of experience in branding. Right. We have a lot of experience in that's market, you know what I mean? So there's a good balance there. So we're and it's sort of, he came to me and said to me, look, I need a bit of hand with this. I'm a bit stuck on this, and we're saying yeah, and then we got talking, and like that, you just start having conversations, and now we ended up, we're doing a bit of business together, and we're, there's other bits and pieces coming through and down the line, so it's quite interesting that way, but no, not real estate. I wouldn't have any dealings with it at all,
Just curious. So I got some stuff from Keller Williams, which is a really large brokerage of real estate agents. I don't know if they're overseas or not. Negative reviews aren't the end of the world. In fact, 68% of consumers are more likely to trust reviews when both good and bad ratings are shown. But that doesn't mean you should ignore them. Instead, take the opportunity to show your world-class customer service skills. So just like you were saying.
Yeah, I think you have to be able to respond quickly. And I've learned another thing over the last few years is that by responding quickly to a bad review, or even to a good review, you get a huge amount of traction from that, where people say, well, gosh, like, I was in the restaurant last night and the burgers were a bit cold, or whatever they may be. I'm just using that as a scenario. But if you say, well, look, come back in, and Jesus, we didn't, why didn't you let us know sooner? We could have done something about it. Come back in, we'll have a chat, and if there's anything else we can do. And 9 times out of 10, you turn the customer back around. And we had one particular customer that came into the restaurant, and they gave a horrible review on the website, and it literally went viral with all their friends, and we were going, Jesus, how are we on the thing? So I just get onto them and get them in and explain to them what was the problem. We ended up with one of our best customers now. Simply just going the extra mile instead of just sort of sitting back. And as you say, like, I would be more inclined if I seen that it was all good reviews. I go, well, hold on, that's like, someone's had to have some experience where it hasn't been right. So if that is, as you say, it's a red flag, and you just sort of go, okay. Whereas if you see a mix of both, you'll definitely sort of take a bit more interest and say, well, I like to check it out for myself as much as anything else.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that, it's true. It's how you respond. It's how you reach out to the people. I mean, that's one thing that I know Peter does too. We really coach our clients on how to respond, because there is a good way to respond and a bad way to respond. You don't want to, get down in the dirt and start going back and forth. But that your example was perfect. I mean, if you've got the proper response and you reach out and you're proactive about it, it's amazing how you can turn that around.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. You don't want to be sort of sitting and sort of get one comment and not answer it, and then someone else comes on and then answer it, because you've lost the momentum. You know what I mean? You need to get straight in. So people see, and especially like we do with the restaurant and whatever, and say their Facebook page, and you might get a review on it. And if you don't respond to that, they sort of say, oh, well, that's just someone in an office just typing there every day and putting. Whereas if you put a face to it and you answer it back and say, look, talk to me, Alan here, give me a ring. Here's my mobile. Here's my, here's the office number. Ring us and we can chat about it. Automatically, you made a connection. They're sort of going, oh, well, hold on. There is actually people there that are watching this and are listening.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
And as you say, you're reaching out to them, you'll find that you'll handle the situation a lot better. There was a restaurant here in Dublin that, it's gone back a couple of months, but this man, he wrote a dreadful review. He tore them to strips, and they were saying that there was this and was that. And your man, the restaurant owner, was an actual writer for the Irish Times here as well. And he literally went and he replied to him. You wouldn't believe the response. Like, it went literally viral. Everyone started saying, wow, how well he responded to it and how well he sorted it out within hours, Yeah, so that's the story. Hold on, there's my phone. I just want to take this. People are ringing me at this hour tonight. How dare they? I'll just mute this for a second.
Okay, no worries.
You're fine. All right, I'm going to throw some fun in here. There's a place up in Michigan. What is the name of this place? Jerry's Frenchtown Bar and Grill. Okay. And so this is hilarious. Let's see. Do I have the whole review? Oh, I got to pull this up here.
Sorry.
All right. So here's the review that somebody left. Somebody left a 1-star review on Jerry's Frenchtown Bar and Grill. It says this: I stopped in for lunch back in the late 90s. Okay. This review was left January 27th, 2013. I stopped in for lunch back in the late 90s, sat at the bar and ordered a regular burger and 1 O'Doul's, which I have to question that. But anyway, $9.50 question mark. That's not a lot in today's economy. But at that time, I was regularly getting a burger and a beer for lunch for half that much everywhere else. I asked the barmaid if she mixed up the bills and got a 1-word answer. Nope. Did I leave a tip? Question mark. Nope. Will I ever go back? Question mark. Nope. And someone apparently representing Jerry's joined Yelp just to send me a nasty message. Classy. So,
oh my God.
Well, what's happened since that guy did that? The owner replied, he says something about, first I want to state, I've never sent you a message, nor I have any knowledge of anyone sending you a message. If you would care to send me a name or a code name privately for these people, then I will kindly ask them to stop. I would also like to publicly apologize to you for the trauma you must have received in the 90s while dining at Jerry's. On and on and on. Well, other people started posting reviews. So he gave a 1 star. It's actually a negative review. Other people started posting funny messages, but they were doing like 5 stars. But they were saying, oh, yeah, I stopped back in the 80s and blah, blah, blah. And just on and on and on. And so Jerry's Frenchtown's kind of, anyway, I discovered that on a bit from
well, I actually have an interesting story. Last year, a client that we represented, it was a spa, laser, Botox, all that good stuff in Phoenix, Arizona. And they received a really awful review on Yelp. They weren't using our system. They weren't, funneling the patients through our system. And they got really upset. And they said that, it's not even a legitimate review because it was the owner's ex-boyfriend's daughter type thing. Yeah. So
had never actually been there or used the service, right?
Right. Yeah. And so we actually went onto Yelp and looked at where she had posted other things, and you could tell she wasn't a legitimate Yelper, because that's huge. Yeah. You have to be a legitimate Yelper. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I actually spent 2 full days on the phone with Yelp and got that review removed.
Awesome.
So it can be done.
It can be because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of riffraff like that happens.
Yes.
I mean, it happens on Yelp. It happens Facebook. Those are the 2 places where I see it the most, where you kind of get that. Just like I don't even know who this person is. What are they even saying? And so luckily, I've been able to do the same thing. Similar situations where we're able to go, hey, come on, Yelp. It doesn't even fit in your policy guidelines, right? Yeah. How can you allow this? Yeah. So they love to quote their policies and guidelines to you when it works in their favor, but
right,
they're a little slow sometimes. They'll get to it, but they're a little slow. Is Yelp in Ireland? You have Yelp there too?
It is, but it wouldn't be as prominent as was, say, TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor would be.
TripAdvisor is really the big one.
Would be the biggest probably here in Ireland. And I suppose in Europe as well. Like it's bigger, it would be bigger than Yelp. Like when we were in the States, I would say yes, definitely Yelp would outweigh TripAdvisor as far from what I can see. And from anywhere, like if we were looking at restaurants or anything in the States, you'd say that they always Yelp would be more.
Yeah, Yelp's the biggest site. Yelp's absolutely the biggest site for restaurants.
It is, but I found that it's kind of a combination on the East Coast between Yelp and TripAdvisor. Yelp is
is it on the East Coast?
Yeah, but we had on our last call last week, we had somebody from the East Coast, and they said they used TripAdvisor more than anything else. Yeah. So I think Yelp is growing; it's moving its way across the country, but it's a lot more popular on the West Coast right now than it is, and it's moving, But
definitely the number one business on Yelp, as far as the business category, is restaurants by far and away. So,
definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's especially for when we took over with this restaurant, the client, they were saying, "Oh yeah, we get a lot of reviews on TripAdvisor." So I went and I looked at them and I was like, lads, you haven't responded to one of these. Not one. Oh, we don't know how to do it. So I had to go and actually show them and train them and say, look, this is how you need to respond. This is the way you should respond. This is the type of the manner and the way you should speak on this forum.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's education as much as anything with online reviews when people are coming, and not just necessarily for restaurants. It can be for we have loads of other bits and pieces that we would do that you would see reviews on. Now, whether they may be not, it wouldn't be a TripAdvisor. They might be a local online review site type of thing where you'd have something locally in Dublin or Ireland or wherever it may be. Mm-hmm. So it's still there's different. There's one format for review for replying, but it's how the tone is put across, and it's how it's projected that the business is where the business is coming from and the stand that it's taken. And you don't really see that until such time as you're involved with the business and you can understand their point of view of what they're saying. So that's where we would always say to people, when you're reviewing, think about what you're actually going to say and how you want this to be portrayed. Because if they don't do that, especially with the restaurants, they have a huge staff. They have 202 or they've 60 odd staff, 70 odd. The manager doesn't have time. They don't have a team in there. doing their social media or their digital marketing. So you need to become, like they say, well, I haven't got time to answer. I said, no, you need to make time though. You have to make time if you're this review. And it's only now they start to realize, and they're saying it. You know, we had a guy, he came in with his wife, must be what, a year ago. And he came in, he was sitting at the bar, and we were talking to him and whatever, and just normal average guy, never known anything about it. He went off, he wrote this fantastic review. His boss, in turn, seen the review that he wrote and came into the restaurant 2 weeks later. And they're a huge, big European company. I'm not going to mention names. Huge, big marketing company. And they came in. And he rang the manager and he says, we'd like to book the restaurant out. And he goes, she says, yeah, when? And he says, or she says, how many? And he says, 200 people.
Oh. Wow.
She says, well, what night do you want? The only night I could give you will be Monday night. She says, that's perfect. She says, we're in Dublin on Monday. Can we book the restaurant from 5 o'clock on to the finish? He came in, he threw down 20 grand on the table.
Holy cow.
And he says, when it runs out, let me know. And that came from one review. So
that's awesome.
That's when it starts to get serious and you start to realize and say, right, now I need to start looking at this properly. And it was a huge wake up call as well for me, So, but it just goes to show you how imperative it is to be proactive on it, whether you're getting negative or positive.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you make a good point too. I mean, part of the coaching, that we work with clients is there's really two things. So, it's one is trying to make it easy, like create a way to make it easy for people to leave you a review. So just don't leave them in the dark. So if you got to print something on a postcard, I've seen this quite a few times from different businesses where they'll do a postcard, and the postcard has like Yelp information on it and what to do on Yelp or whatever particular site you're trying to get on at the time. And you should have a balance across multiple sites. But make it easy for them to know what they're supposed to do. Yeah. And then secondly, ask. Say, hey, you had a great experience? Leave me a review. Yeah. Because there's a lot of potential reviews that are just sitting out there. Because people that had a positive experience, they're just not as motivated as someone who's mad and angry to leave a review.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's out there. All these potential reviews are just waiting to happen. Yeah, if we just make it easy and we ask for it, then we'll get them. And again, then kind of take that next step if you can. If you can train your customers then to go, tell us why you had a great experience. Yeah. Why do you recommend us to somebody else? Why do you want to come back? What is it you did? What did we do for you? Leave something substantial that really tell the story of your experience. And that definitely makes a difference in how people are going to judge that. And obviously, you do a good enough job, you get $20,000.
Yeah, but see, that's
I'm sure that was the start of the night, but that was probably a $30,000-$40,000 night for them in their restaurant.
Oh yeah,
I don't have happened hardly ever, never.
Yeah. They put down 20 grand down on as a tab. I says, when it runs out, let me know. And the manageress on the night, she says, it's down to about 2 grand. He says, all right. He says, stick another 10 on it.
Oh my gosh.
And we're standing there going, oh yeah, okay.
Wow.
What he does is he brings his staff away. There's a staff of whatever there is, 200 people, and he brings them to a different country every year, just after Christmas. Like their Christmas party. Awesome. And basically, what he does, he brings them to a different country and brings them the sites around. Some say maybe they go to Barcelona, they go to wherever, and then they just come in. They came to Dublin, they done the whole tour thing, bang, and then they came in. They booked the restaurant there. We because of the restaurant and it's American style teams. We have a DJ on, and they were all dancing, and it was great party atmosphere. So that was But the thing that I found is we were away in Florida on vacation there. not last year, the year before, and we went into a place called Miller's. I don't know if you know of it. It's like a restaurant. It is a restaurant, but it's a sports bar as well. And I'm looking, and we walked in, and I seen the way they were doing things, and I was saying, there's something that we can use. Went back, brought it back, down to silly little things like ordering off an iPad, but down to even simpler things of just, hi, I'm Alan, pleased to meet you.
Right.
Smiling constantly.
Right.
And really making the people feel warm and enjoy the experience. Yep. And then when you're walking out like that, they handed you your card and say, if you like this, why don't you give us a review? We'd be delighted if you could. Now, obviously in Florida, and we were on International Drive, they're getting tourists left, right and centre. But where the restaurant in Dublin is, it's in Temple Bar. Now, I don't know if you know Temple Bar, but Temple Bar is the main tourist attraction for nightlife in Dublin. So, and we're looking at it and going, that's what we should be doing. We started doing it, and like that, reviews start going up and up and up. And you start getting people. And it's all down to the staff as well. It's down to the way they react on the floor and to make an enjoyable experience. And if you make an enjoyable experience, of course you're going to give a good review. If you get someone that's having a bad day, it will show up. So, it all goes back to the online and the reviews, because that's what people see. And if they have a good experience in the place, they're going to bang, we'll go in there. We enjoyed it, or our friends told us when you're in Dublin, so that's where we would be. That's where I would always be saying, constantly watching it and constantly. And, if you do that, I think you're on a winner. You have to, you know what I mean? It adds to it,
Oh, definitely. I've been trying to get Debbie to jump on, and especially after I see that she uses Yelp. If you want to.
So Debbie,
nice.
I know Debbie, actually. She does some work for me. Is she talking?
Well, she said she wasn't sure if she wanted to jump on or not. I would love for her to jump on.
I can never get her to get on camera. And she's like, no webcam. I'm like, Deb, I'm buying you a webcam and sending it to you. Like, how can you not have a webcam? Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, I'm just curious.
She wants to put on her makeup and.
Oh, okay.
All that.
Well, Debbie, I'm going to ask you a question. When you use Yelp, do you actually leave reviews whenever you're, say, in the restaurant or anything like
Good
that?
question.
Check in. Do you check in on Yelp?
I'm applauding, giving props.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
That's why I wanted her to jump on. I wanted to ask her about it.
Yeah. Tell us, Debbie.
Let us know, because that's what we've been trying to get our clients to do, is encourage their people that come in that are active Yelpers that have the app on their phone to actually check in. So
right.
She says she used it more when she first found it, but she does still on occasion. Okay, good to know. And I think that's the case too. I'm really trying to improve how I use it as well, but I'm not as active as I probably should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd be the same. Like you talk about it, you review it, but like when you are at yourself, like I would rarely use it, but I suppose maybe we should. And we're active on social media, and we're active on Facebook and whatever, and we will give a review there. So why should we not be doing them? On Yelp and TripAdvisor and people like this, another point that I was sort of thinking here is where we sort of were looking at is we were actually going to give them a how-to guide on the tables in the restaurant. So when a customer comes in and you say, oh, you write a review? Oh, yeah. Actually give them a way of doing it and say, look, this is how you do it. And put your review. Obviously, it's your words, but this is the steps that you can take to go and write that review. So, and it is very helpful to people, because some people don't know and say, "Oh, I wouldn't know where to start." And once you see that the how to do it, they go, "All right, okay, I'll have a little go at this." You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's a great thing, especially, depending on the business, a restaurant, it's a little bit harder, but, businesses where you're talking about higher dollar ticket items and things like that. And I think if you have a template that a piece of paper that can actually hand them that says, here's where you go to leave us a review, but here's an example of a good review. Here's what a good review looks like. And maybe with a few different questions that you can ask. And when you have that, then it makes it so much easier for them to go, oh, okay, well, I get it. This is what I need to say. And definitely something I recommend for anything that's a high dollar, high ticket type thing, or, really high value. You kind of need that next level of content inside the reviews. And having some format or template is a great way to do that.
Right. I agree. I'm curious, Alan, with how you guys did that at the restaurant. What was your conversion rate as far as getting, approaching the customers and getting them to actually go and leave a review? Was it high?
It was high. It was high enough. We culled it back now a bit because you don't want to be doing it all the time. Because if you're doing it all the time, people start saying, "Oh yeah, hold on," they're either pushing this down people's throats, or else they're just, it doesn't become a thing where it's important. People say, oh yeah, another review, and so we started to do it on a say maybe every 2 months or so. But yes, we got a huge conversion rate on it, because people were actually sort of going, when we gave them the idea of saying, like, this is where you go, they went, all right, okay, well, if you thought this place was good, maybe just give us 5 minutes and just write us a little review. We don't ask you. We would never say to them that, oh, you have to write a review. But what we would say is like, just 5 minutes, just 2 or 3 words, and say, it was a great experience. You know yourself when you start writing a review, and you go, exactly. Yeah, we went in, and it gets. So when you give the person a chance to say, oh, I only need 2 or 3 words from you, they always will more extend it, and they will say yes and add more to it and say, well, I had this and I had that. And people come back, so yes, we do. It would get a fairly high conversion rate on it. So, it definitely works, and it definitely has increased business because, we've done it with other bits and pieces, other different approaches, and they haven't really taken off. Whereas with reviews and like that, when we ask them to, just give a nice review, like as they're walking out the door, and it's not pushing something down their throat. It's actually just saying, if you get a chance, and you enjoyed it, well, don't forget to give us a little review on whatever, be TripAdvisor or Facebook, or, and people go, yeah, oh, yeah, of course we will. 9 times out of 10, we know because they're booking in the restaurant. The name. So you'd sort of say, well, they were in last night. Oh, they were in last night or whatever. So you'd see that they do actually proactively do it,
Exactly. Peter, do you see that question from Serenity?
Yeah, I saw that. Hi, Serenity. So encouraging Google reviews. So definitely, one thing I recommend, again, is if you can create a cheat sheet for people on here's where you go to leave a review. So at the very least, so we have a software tool that makes this easy, but at the very least, what you can do is have a page on your website, and on that page you put a big icon for whatever social media site you want to get a review for. So it's your domain name / review me or something like that, or leave a review, whatever it is. And so that is a landing page then that you can share everywhere, and you can put it on everything. So here's where you go. So now you have a link then to your Google Plus page. On there, you have a big Google icon that people can click on and go to the Google Plus page and leave a review. Our software tool, we create a nice landing page for you that does that. Makes it really nice, mobile friendly and all that. The challenge with Google Plus is on mobile devices. So they recently made a bunch of changes. So where you actually link to is, I'll put it in the, ask me a question.
Is she wanting to figure out what?
So what is, collect my thoughts here. So Google gives you a challenge on mobile devices because they made a bunch of changes recently, and now everything is directly related to the Maps app that's on your device. So the Google Maps app, where before you went to the Google Plus page to leave a review, now you're linking through the Google Maps app. So it's a completely different link than the link you would go to on your desktop. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going to offer people a page where they're going to go to the mobile side of it, then you got to be able to do that. So we build that into our tools so that everybody can get there. But Google Plus is always the first place I look. How many Google reviews do they have? And if they have very few there, it's like, let's start right there. Let's get 10, 15, 20 reviews there right off the bat. Then we can start looking at other sites and start expanding from there. But, for most businesses, 10, 15 reviews is a good starting place to get to as quick as you can. Especially for dentists. Dentists are notorious for bad reviews, and some of them just practically ignore them. It's crazy.
Right. Well, and that falls back into the statistics we had, Peter, with the doctors and dentists fall right behind restaurants. Restaurants are number one where people look for reviews, and doctors and dentists are number two.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Having those consistent, current, and positive reviews are huge for dentists, orthodontists, doctors, you name it.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at some of these businesses, and I have to imagine that, they may be in a location where just by the location, they get a fair amount of business because people are just going to stop in and not check. Mm-hmm. They may get some referral business from their existing clients that are happy with them. Mm-hmm. But I just imagine how much business could they be getting if they had some positive reviews.
Right, exactly. Well, I live up in small town Bailey, Colorado, and I know a lot of people. There's different groups, Facebook groups and stuff that we belong to, right. And people are all asking for recommendations. And usually, what I do is I say, go in and check their website, check their Google reviews, see what you think, because we've actually worked with clients before that one dentist down in Texas, no name town down in Texas, and this guy couldn't get a good review to save his life. And it was, the staff was good, everything was good. It was just, they were just in, excuse my French, a crappy part of town.
Sure.
So we really had to work with them and coach them on how to get those reviews and how to change things. So, and that brings me to the point, you also want those real reviews. I mean, sometimes, say, Alan, somebody had to wait a little longer for a table, but the food was fantastic.
Right.
I coach my clients to post that because that's a real review.
Yeah.
That, you had to wait a little bit longer, but that means the restaurant was busy and the food was fantastic. Yeah. So I think a lot of times if you have too much sunshine and roses and all that stuff, then it starts looking fake. You want to get some good reviews in there that are good, solid, real reviews.
Yeah. Like we would have, say, even on a Saturday night in the restaurant, it would be extremely busy. They're usually about 20-minute, 40-minute wait. But what we have found is that, like, we've sort of said to the staff, like, okay, people know they're going to have a 20-minute wait, so they're going to sit and they're going to have a drink in the bar. So what we do is we train the bar staff then to entertain them. Now, whether that be in the shape of them dancing behind the bar, or talking to them or having the now, on a busy Saturday night, the lads don't really have time. But what they do is they exchange pleasantries and they get to know. They say, "Hi, you all right for a drink?" Making sure they're looked after for a drink. That they're not sort of just get a drink and then they ignore them until they want the next. Sort of keep on them. And we have got a huge amount of reviews saying, "Look, we went into the restaurant. there was nearly a 40-minute wait. We were sort of sitting there, but we really enjoyed it because we sat in the bar and the barmen were great and they were dancing up and down the restaurant in the bar, you know. And then our food came. We nearly didn't want to leave the bar, you know. So that way, it was able to say, and then they will come back and they would say the food was great and whatever. But you're still getting that, you know, expect to wait, but you will be sort of entertained on your table is ready. And you know, people start going, all right, I know it's going to be busy or I'm going to have to book. So that in turn has turned back into the restaurant, because what they're doing now, people are now doing this, is they're actually booking the restaurant instead of just sort of walking in off the street, because it is on a main road. You know what I mean? They're starting to book because they know that it's going to be busy on a Saturday night. They know it's going to be busy. So it also gives people that insight into reviews. You know, from the review point of view, that people can see where, you know, where these problems are, and say, all right, well, I'm not just going to write it. And they do.
No, it totally does.
They say, oh, look, we read your review and we've heard, you know, we know there's going to be a bit of a wait, but we'll have a drink at the bar. Bang. You know, and you keep them, whereas someone coming in off the street and say, oh, it's going to be a 40-minute wait. You're all right. And they walk out the door. You know, so if they're reading the reviews like that, they will see there is an extra bit of, there's something else on top of it. And you're constantly trying to remember, you know, to think of the customer. And I think if you think of the customer, you know, and think how you would feel if you were treated badly, of course I'm going to write a bad review. So you've got to try all the time to keep your finger on that and just keep saying, right, okay, that person was complaining about such and such. Why were they doing that? And try and figure out, because it's a learning curve as well, as much as anything with reviews for the business. The business can then find, you know, okay, well, we're lacking in this area, and why are we lacking in it? And it's a great learning curve as well for the business side of it.
Yep.
And that's, you know, that's what we would always preach and say, look, lads, you've got 6 reviews saying that, I don't know, that your burgers are bad or your whatever you know, or your customer service is bad. This, you need to improve on this. And we're only telling you, we're not saying to you to do it, but what we are saying is this is where you're falling down, because everything else seems to be getting good reviews. And they go, yeah, I understand. And it's only when you show them in black and white that they start going,
yes, right.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, they may not realize there's a problem at all. So getting those reviews and that feedback is critical to realizing. We had, again, another client as an example, had no idea his front office staff was so rude to some of his patients. So, you know, it can be eye-opening, but in a positive way, because it can help you correct the problem and move forward. You know, and
I think that's what, you know, the review process is. It is to be able to either figure out where you're going wrong and try and learn how to correct it. And you get people's views, and they will say to you, and so you can sort of start and channel. You can narrow it down very much so, and sort of say, look, lads, this is where you're going wrong, and this is what. You know, we see it in the restaurant. Like they always say to me when I'm in, oh, you're the eyes and ears of the manager. And I says, yeah, I have to be, because I'm watching everything the way it's working. And I would say, I would never be able to turn around and say, right, we're changing that. But what I would say is like, you need to look at this, this, and this. And how you do it is not my business. I'm only saying to you, this is the areas that you need to be doing.
Exactly.
Like, business owners have enough to be dealing with without having to try and figure out. Whereas if they have someone that has their eyes and ears are on the pulse and is watching it, they go, great, and you're doing your job. You know what I mean? Your client will then start trusting you, and we've gotten referrals from that as well, because we do.
Oh yeah,
we go that extra.
You should be getting referrals. If you're doing a good job, you should be getting those referrals. Absolutely.
That's what we always were like. We always get like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, or he will watch out for you. And he'll do. Now, there's different scenarios for every business, and we all know that, you know. But like that, the core practices will always be there. That, you know, watch what you're doing, how you're doing it, and learn from your mistakes.
Yep.
You know, and I think that's the basis of it all. You know, what it all comes back to. You know,
Right.
that's just.
I like Alan's accent. I could like.
I do too, Alan. I was actually. I'm gonna have to start cutting this short. I apologize. We kind of double booked ourselves, and I've got to get my business partner out for to meet our financial planner. So speaking of, but we are going to do it again next week. And Peter, I would love for you to co-host with me again next week. I just need to change the time to 1 o'clock, which is our time, which would be an hour earlier for you, Alan. We'd love for you to come back.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to jump in. Yeah.
That would be awesome. I did go in and change it on Blab already. I edited it. So it is going to be at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So would that be 8 for you in Ireland?
Yeah, it'd be 8, yeah.
Okay. All right. So maybe that's a little better, a little worse than a little better.
I've become a Blab addict. I actually tweeted earlier on, I've become a Blab addict. I came on.
Have you really?
I came on it the first night, and I went. I couldn't get enough at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Crazy. It's so wild.
It is. Well, I don't know. Did you guys do Google Hangouts at all? I never did Google Hangouts, but I heard
a little bit, and it was so. It was so cumbersome just to even get it set up and to get someone to watch it. It was like, why is this so hard?
Exactly. That's what I heard.
It's so stupid.
Very hard. Kind of glitchy. All this.
Yeah, I just love this whole idea of like 4 different screens, and you're sitting here, and like you're watching the comments on the side, and you start saying, and able to tweet it out and say, look, we're doing this now. Come in and join it. And people do, you know, and I think that's great. And you can jump in and out of conversations. And as Peter says, you're not trying to figure out how am I going to get this out, who's going to come, you know. So it's just adding and adding, you know.
Oh, I mean, I love it. I've had a blast with it. So this is the second time I've done a format like this, and then I've been a guest on a couple of other labs, and I just love it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I just can't wait to see where it's going to go. The only problem I'm having with it is I changed my Twitter handle, and it's changed over here on the left side when anybody starts following me. But for some reason up here, it's still showing up as my old Twitter handle. And I don't know how to.
There's a technical thing in your browser. You got to clear your cache, I think.
Oh, okay.
Cache out and refresh it. It probably will fix it.
Awesome. Good to know. See, this is why Peter and I are strategic partners. He looks out for me on the IT side. It's fantastic.
I'm a nerd.
He's my IT guru guy, and I follow him around like a puppy dog. How do I fix this? How do I do that?
I'm not that smart. I'm really not that smart, but I like to break things, and then I have to figure out how to fix it.
Peter, you're like me. You're just like me. You wing it and say, right, hold on.
I tinker with it and wing it. And then, well, you got to do your X, Y, Z and your PDQ.
Yeah.
Okay. You sound pretty smart.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put it into it. But next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, so 8 o'clock your time, Alan. We'd love to see you again. And Peter, you're good to go, right?
I think so. I'll double check my schedule, but yeah, it should be good.
Okay. I'm gonna invite a couple other people to kind of jump on into the 4th seat and then kind of keep it open so that people can come on, because I'm gonna go out of my way to really promote this next one, because I want to start looking a little bit more at Google and then looking at other listings, how people are listing.
I'd like to know a little bit more about Google as well. I must actually have a look in more as well. And so it's great because you're able to share your experience, but also then educate yourself as well while you're so this is a great form. It's a great way of doing that, so everyone has a little bit to offer, and that's what it's all about,
Oh, I totally agree.
Thanks, Michelle, for hosting this. Yay. Awesome job. You're the hostess with the mostest.
Well, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And hopefully next time maybe we can get Debbie online. She'll have to just join us. So
I'm buying her a webcam.
There you go.
We'll all go together and buy her a webcam.
Right.
They're so expensive.
Right.
I know. But it sounds better, Peter. It sounds better.
Does. Let's come together as a group. All right, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
All right, y'all. Take care.